The Maoshan Solar Package Special. Get the 5-element Maoshan Spirit Fighting plus the Solar Package. A total of $4,500 savings for both packages. 2 weeks only. Maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Go to solarflash.thunderwizard.com to see what the Solar Flash package is all about. Get them both together. Save $4,500. Hey everybody, this is Mahadev, the Thunder Wizard. I hope that you are doing well. Today, I want to talk some more about some of the crazy things that are going on around the world as we seem to be shifting into a different dimension. So before I forget, I do have books out there. You can go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com where I'm talking about what is going on. Interdimensional revolution is one of them, as well as extraterrestrials are coming to Earth. That's another one of my audiobooks. And if you've read my books, by the way, please leave a review, not just some stars. Hopefully you're leaving 5 stars because you enjoyed it, but also write a review if you've read any of my books. It's very helpful. All right, so what do all these things have in common? Aliens, Bigfoot, Dogman, extra dimensionals, Wolfman, Mothman. It means that the veil between dimensions is thinning. You know, one of the things that happens a lot is you will have, in certain areas, you will have multiple manifestations of different things. So it is not uncommon to see Bigfoot, to see UFOs, to see this new thing that I haven't heard about until recently called a Dogman, which is not like a werewolf, it's a dog man, but we're talking about 7, 8, 9 foot tall man with the head of a German Shepherd. That's the way it's been described. And I want to talk to you about what those things might really be and what it really might mean. So I know from firsthand experience that we live in a multi-dimensional multiverse where our dimension, there are dimensions on top of it and beneath it, and interlaced with that are other universes, other timelines, that sometimes you can have this convergence of timelines and dimensions and things like that can sort of move in together. And I have to say, I get frustrated. Well, I get frustrated a lot. That seems to be my response to things I can't control. But I get frustrated with the way these things are presented, not only in, I'm not going to say mainstream media, even though that kind of is, but documentaries and things like that. People get really bad information. Now, a lot of times the bad and mistaken information that they get about these phenomena, UFOs, aliens, Bigfoot, Dogman, evil spirits, extra-dimensional beings. A lot of the information that people get is, part of it is just, it's clickbait. You're getting information that is designed to placate your desire for being entertained, frightened. You are deliberately being talked down to. You're deliberately being manipulated into responding from a 3-dimensional viewpoint, which is going to always be fear and confusion. And you're also being taught how to make assumptions about things. So one of the things that's happening now when it comes to UFOs is that you are being taught, without even realizing it, you are being taught to immediately associate UFOs with extraterrestrial invasion. And what you will hear is, when somebody talks about UFOs I'm doing this right now. I was just watching a documentary because I thought it might have some cool information. But what is annoying is somebody will be talking about some kind of UFO event that a bunch of people have seen, and without even thinking about it, there will be what kind of intentions do these beings have? And do they want to harvest my organs? And are they planning on using us for our DNA? I mean, this is just the first thing that comes out of their mouth. And if you look at the actual event, there's absolutely nothing going on in the event itself to indicate anything negative is going on. But that's because you are being taught to do that. You're being taught to do that by so-called whistleblowers. People who claim to have been part of the establishment, the military, whatever, and they will talk about what these events are, and then they will immediately ask all kinds of fear-based questions. What are the intentions of these beings? Do they have nefarious intentions for us? Do they want to, control us? Do they want to blah, blah, blah? And it's frustrating. But there's also just the inherent human response to the unknown, the inherent three-dimensional response to the unknown. And I'll give you an example. I once had a Bigfoot encounter. I'll never forget it. I used to say it was the most frightening experience of my life, but now it is only one of two experiences I've had that were equally as frightening. And in both cases, it had to do with being in the presence of something that was not part of my dimension, was not part of the third dimension. And whenever a human being is confronted with something that they can feel is not part of their third dimensional reality, the only reaction that you can have without experience is fear. That's it. Fear and confusion. That is our nature. We are designed to do that. So unfortunately, the information that's getting to you about all of these things, aliens, Bigfoot, Dogman, Mothman, interdimensional beings, other stuff that goes along with it, these portals that seem to be, in different places around the world, there are these energetic portals where if you come near them or go into them, you can be in multiple dimensional states at once, and you can see, in one place you'll see UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogmen, higher dimensional beings. You can see all this kind of happening all at once. And what it means is that you're looking into a window. So I've got a lot of things going on in my head at the same time, so I guess I'll just let my thoughts flow in wherever they're going. What I know now for a fact that I did not know before is that at this very moment, wherever you are surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of conscious beings that are in other dimensions and in other realities that are superimposed on your own. And you will not be able to see them, hear them. They could be walking right through your body and you walking through theirs. There are situations where they can see you, but you can't see them. That's very common here in the third dimension. So whenever we run into these energy portals in different parts of the Earth, the Bermuda Triangle is probably one. And I think the reason for that is that that is where I do believe that Atlantis existed now. I got to make a video saying I was wrong about Atlantis. I do believe that Atlantis existed and that there was a higher dimensional, a highly advanced civilization. And because of climate shift and other things like that, it's underneath the ocean now. And we now would call it the continental shelf. I'm in Florida right now, only for another week. And then I'm going back to my adopted home in central Queensland, Australia. But I do believe that Atlantis did exist there, and I believe that it, for whatever reason, is a dimensional portal. And that is why so many strange things happen there. And so it's in these portals that these different dimensions can be experienced and seen. Experiences where people disappear. You'll be walking next to somebody and they just disappear. You'll be walking next to somebody and they disappear, and you run into them, a mile away from you, and you say, what happened to you? And they say, nothing. What happened to you? I was walking next to you and you disappeared. These kinds of things. When you're in the presence of something that's from a different dimension, you definitely feel it. You can't be in the presence of something from another dimension and not feel it. It's not possible. So what is going on? The Earth is shifting. We have the planet Earth is going through a shift, and I am starting to warm up to the idea that there are multiple versions of planet Earth that are superimposed on top of each other. And the phenomenon that leads me to that conclusion is, in fact, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Sasquatch is, again, here's the frustrating part. You watch these documentaries about people, trying to prove the existence of Sasquatch, and they don't seem to understand, the idea of multidimensional beings. They don't understand it. Sasquatch is a multidimensional being, or beings. There's more than one, of course. And these beings can choose to vibrate at the level of the third dimension. And when they do that, they look to us like these enormous bipedal, half human, half gorilla type beings. When they choose to vibrate at higher dimensional levels, they phase out of three-dimensional existence, and they can appear as a light, as an orb or a shaft of light. If you've done any research in the Sierra, I forget what they call it, the Sierra something or other, but I've been in the Sierras. That's where I had my Bigfoot experience. I have a video on this channel. If you look for it, you can find it. And I definitely liked those mountains, and I now know why I liked those mountains so much, because those mountains are, in fact, energy portals. And that's why I've never experienced the same level of spiritual power in any other mountains in the world. And I've been to a lot of different mountains, and I've never experienced anything as powerful as I experienced in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I believe because they are portals. They're natural pyramids. They're just these giant slabs of granite that come to these points. And, they create these energy portals. And so if you know anything about that, the Sierra tapes or whatever it's called, the guys that would go to those backcountry places in the Sierras where they would see and hear and communicate, and they even have recordings of Sasquatches communicating in their language, which is really trippy to listen to. And they would then also see these shafts of light come into their camp, and float around in the camp, or these orbs of light come into their camp and float around the camp. And see, here's the thing about Sasquatch is that Sasquatch will respond to your energy. If you are aggressive, like if you're looking to cause harm, if you come into very powerful places in the wilderness and you do not have an attitude of respect, they will be very aggressive towards you. Now, what's interesting is that you never really hear of instances, at least in modern recorded history, of Sasquatches attacking humans. But they will do things like chase you out of the forest, and they will harass you all night long until you leave. And at the same time, you have experiences of people who run into Sasquatches, and one guy, he'd never seen one, didn't know what he was dealing with, and he saw one. And he didn't know what he was looking at, so he cocked his head, and the Sasquatch cocked his head. And that was a sign that he was saying, I'm on your level. And had he decided to, had he said, oh, let's communicate, the Sasquatch would have then engaged in interdimensional communication, probably telepathic communication with him. But because his response was fearful, he took out his gun and he started shooting at him. So the Sasquatch then chased him out of the forest and was in multiple places at once. He'd be running down the path. The Sasquatch would be on one side, be behind him, would be in front of him. He ran faster than him. And this was a being, he knew that if this animal wanted to, he could have easily killed him, and he didn't. But they never put two and two together. And that's because when you're dealing with these multidimensional states, if you are not in a state of fearlessness, don't get me wrong, it's okay to be afraid, but if you are not in a state of willing to be there in that state, you will have the experience that it will attack you. It's not, but that will be your experience. So I get frustrated. Now, let's talk about, so I do believe that Bigfoot I don't think Bigfoot is a higher dimensional being. I think Bigfoot is a multidimensional being. Perhaps there's an earth beneath ours. There's an earth beneath ours, which is almost 100% identical. And in the wilderness, they might be identical. Does that make sense? So if you go into a place that has not been radically changed by human beings, that might be an identical Earth. And then these multidimensional beings will go back and forth between our 3D and their version of 3D, which I think might be vibrating at a different level than ours. And so they might not realize they're going in between different dimensions, but, they are. And let's talk about the Dogman. All right, so let's move on to a different subject of the Dogman. This one I find very interesting. There was a case, a very recent case, somewhere in the Midwest, and it's a place alongside, just a certain geographical area that people would see alongside the road. They would see this enormous Dogman, and they would usually see this Dogman, and he would have bright red eyes, and they'd see him eating some kind of an animal, a cow or a goat or a deer or something like that. And they'd see him, eating this animal. And if human beings got anywhere near him, he would chase after the human beings and chase them away. There was never any recorded instance of people being harmed by this being. But whenever they saw the eyes of the being, when the eyes would look at human beings, they would feel it, the way I would describe it as, that they would be experiencing something from another dimension. It would cause tremendous fear in them. And so everybody described the way that it looked the same way. I saw the same thing just recently in Australia, around Sydney, in the rural areas around Sydney. There are people that are describing the same creature. It's a large creature that has the body of a man, covered in hair and fur, and it's really tall, 9-10 feet tall, but it's got the head of a German Shepherd. Same kind of thing. And one woman was talking about it, and she got so upset she just had to walk away. Now, looking at it first, I'm like, why couldn't she talk about it? Now, I've experienced interdimensional beings. I understand why. Because the cognitive dissonance, when you start to relive the experience, your brain can't handle it. And so I understand why she just said, I can't talk about this anymore. She just got up and walked away. I get that. And one guy in the area here in the States where they were seeing these reports of this dog man, he had bought this property, and people were telling him, oh, the werewolf lives there. He's like, what? And his animals were getting strangely mutilated. And internal organs would be missing, things like that. And there would be what looked like some kind of what looked like surgical cuts in the animal, and then like their liver removed or their heart removed or something strange like that. And so he didn't buy into the whole werewolf thing, so he set up a trail cam. And I don't know what animal he put out there, but he put an animal, freshly killed animal, put it out there as bait, and he left the trail cam. And what showed up on the trail cam was not a werewolf. It was a mist. It was a mist that floated through. It then went and surrounded the carcass of the animal. And then when it left, the carcass of the animal had been mutilated. And internal organs had gone missing. And so what I've come to conclude about that is something that I believe may be going on with higher dimensional beings as well. I don't know. I'm just musing at this point because I haven't been able to, find out 100% for myself. But these beings that people are experiencing as wolfmen, dogmen, are beings from another dimension. And they have the essence of a predator. So their mindset, their essence is that of the ultimate predator. So for human beings, symbolically, the ultimate predator is a wolf. Wolf represents what we perceive as being something that is cunning and is a hunter and is also sociopathic. If you have a dog, it's great, but we don't think of wolves that way. And by the way, if you've ever seen an actual wild wolf, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you look into the eyes of a wolf, I have. I've looked into the eyes of not a dog, but a wolf. And it was a shocking and frightening experience. It was huge too. I didn't know that wolves were so big. They're huge. It was this enormous wolf, and then it looked me in the eyes, and I mean, I felt it go directly into my soul, like, and so I don't know. There's something about wolves that give across this feeling of sociopathy. In any case, what I believe is that these dogmen are not dogmen at all. But in the third dimension, we humans have the ability to manifest into physical form our intentions. So when we experience, this happens in us probably in a nanosecond, when we come anywhere near one of these beings, that if we just take a picture of it, it's going to show up as a mist, an indistinct, some kind of, something. It's not a dog man or a wolf man. It's something else. It's just an essence. It's an essence of predatoriness, and it needs to feed. When we come anywhere near it, it manifests based on the feeling that we get from its essence. And so in our DNA, human beings in our DNA, we, whether you've seen a wolf or not, our physical bodies and our nervous system going back millions of years, they know what these things look like. And but wolves don't have the consciousness of a human being. So when you combine a consciousness that is similar to human beings and you combine it with the predatory essence of a wolf, I'm not even going to say our unconscious mind, but our base human ability to manifest reality with our intentions is going to manifest that into what we experience as a dog man. And then in that instance, if we happen to be anywhere near it while it's feeding, instead of it going in and magically pulling out, organs, we're going to see it doing what a wolf dog would do, standing there with its claws, tearing and eating it. We're going to transform reality, and what's really important to understand is that our reality is malleable. It's not inflexible. We create our reality with our intention. I have heard from other people who have also interacted with higher dimensional beings, interdimensional beings, call them whatever you want, that they have said, beings will show up in a certain, what we would consider to be some type of alien. They would look like some kind of alien creature. And somebody asked them, why do you appear that way? And the higher dimensional being responded and said, we appear however you intend us to appear. We aren't the ones that decide how we look. You decide. And I don't know how true that is. My latest interactions have led me to some differing conclusions about the different levels of light beings and how they interact. And there's a hierarchy that I'm starting to kind of grasp in my tiny little three-dimensional brain. But I'm not prepared to make any, statements. I'm just getting sort of feelings about it. But we are going to shift, ladies and gentlemen. And I am now open to the idea that the solar flash is an ongoing process. I believe that there was a significant event on December 2nd that started the ball rolling. I believe that it is possible that there might end up being multiple versions of Earth. And I believe that it's possible that, like Sasquatch, we, or at least some of us, might be able to bounce back and forth in between different versions of Earth. One of the first things that was told to me by my higher dimensional visitations, one of the first things that was told to me was, and you can read it in my book, Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth. What the being said to me was, you are a probability. And if you understand anything about quantum physics says that our physical reality is a probability. It's not a certainty. This cup is not solid. Nothing is certain. It is a fluid probability. Time is not a real thing. Your experience of reality is one little slice of manifested probability stacked in front of each other. They string together, and to us it looks like time is moving forward in a certain fashion, but it's not. Imagine infinite numbers of slides, instant moments. And instead of it flowing in one direction, it's just this one pops up, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And we experience a bunch of different realities in one time. And if we are able to rise beyond our attachment to and I'm getting some positive reinforcement here. If we are able to rise beyond our attachment to what we think we need reality to be at any given moment, that slideshow will disappear and we will be in a sea of possibilities. And then we can choose to jump into different realities from one moment to the next. When that happens, if you're standing next to somebody who has the ability to do that, they will disappear in front of you. And now we get to the explanation of what the Taoist masters talked about, which is, the legend is that when Taoist masters get to a high level of their meditative abilities, they will go into a cave somewhere and they will just meditate. And their students will come, every day and, brush off the dust and the bugs and everything like that, and make sure that their physical body is in a good spot. And then they'll show up one day and there will be nothing left. There will be a pile of clothes, hair, and fingernails. And the rest of the person will be gone. But then they will be able to have experiences of that person showing up, walking through walls, showing up in dreams, being in multiple places at once, talking to different students who are in different parts of the world at the exact same moment. They will become multidimensional beings. And this is what spirituality has always been about, is to let go of the attachment to our lower vibrational states, which are always associated with fear, with greed, with anger, with all of those things. All of those things attach us to a finite, lower vibrational state of reality. So I do believe that Sasquatch has moved beyond that. They are, in fact, what they appear to be, which they are guardians of those sacred interdimensional places in the wilderness that have power. I believe that beings like Dogman are lower dimensional beings. These are beings that come from a lower dimension, probably the second dimension. And the difference between ETs, Bigfoot, and Dogman is that Dogman wants to come into the third dimension. Wants to break through and become part of our dimension, and because they are a lower dimensional being, we experience them as predatory. In the same way that a higher dimensional being is going to experience us humans as predatory, angry, violent. And we are now in this transitional period. With all of the things that are going on, we're going to hear more and more of these reports. We're going to have more and more experiences of them. Anyway, I just thought I would sort of babble about that. I recommend getting my books, Interdimensional Revolution Extraterrestrials Are Coming to Earth. You can get that on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. You can also go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com. But from now until, next week or so, the rest of this month, I am offering the Solar Flash special, which you can get $2,500 worth of video teachings and 3 certifications for $100 and something bucks. It's basically nothing. You can also go to maushan.thunderwizard.com and you can get the Solar Flash plus the Maushan for a greatly reduced price. You can also just get the Maushan 5-element spirit fighting practices at its own special rate. Again, only for the next couple of weeks. I want to get to Australia and have some money in my bank account so I can go and rent a place, because they do things a little differently there. And I want to be able to throw some cash at them and say, give me a place to live. So if you want to help me find a place to live, take advantage of that. If you want to have the ability to have personal interaction with higher dimensional beings of light, not dogmen. I mean, if you want to interact with Sasquatch, go ahead. I put him in a little different category, but go right ahead. Yeah, this will probably work for interacting with Sasquatch. That's how I ended up making it happen, in 2001 is when I had my experience. If you want to have that experience and be able to interact consciously without having to drop acid or take ayahuasca, and be able to go to another dimension and create a dimensional portal within yourself to higher dimensions, you can go to thunderwizard.com and be part of the interdimensional shamanic meditation course. Go check that out, interdimensional shamanic meditation course at thunderwizard.com. And of course, courses.thunderwizard.com. I mean, I got so much stuff going on in so many different directions. But the more that you interact with these links, the more ability I have to just spend time to work with you and give you all this good stuff. So I've got stuff coming up. When I get to Australia, when I get settled, I'm going to upload a video course called the Quantum Butterfly. And it is going to be a very powerful Maushan form, like a highly powerful Qigong form that will use multiple directions, and we'll talk about it, but it's I've been working on it for a while now, and anyway, it's something that will give you the ability to push your energy level up to a higher dimensional thing. So keep your eyes out for that. That is going to be the Quantum Butterfly. That'll be coming out after I get established in Australia. All right, so that's it for me. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any. Oh, look at that, no questions. We've got Vincent, you know him, vincent.thunderwizard.com. You can check out his website. I just gave it to you. And thundra.thunderwizard.com. You can also check that out. So if you're new to the channel, this is what I'm interested in. Questions and feelings. I'm not interested in your opinion. And I'm already looking at people who are new to the channel, and I'm here to tell you, you need to think more deeply. You are being played. You are being played. Brian Silvers, you are being played. If you think that's what all we're talking about, if you think that all that is fallen angels, you have been lied to. You've been manipulated. You have been fed empty, stale crackers when you need actual food. No, that is not accurate, my friend. I don't see any questions. All right, so we can just leave it at that. How many people are on the channel? 22, 26 people watching. Give you a little bit of time to go ahead and leave a question. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and play this. Okay, we've got a question come up. He says, sorry if this is an offending question, but how do I know that everything you say is true? You don't. I mean, I just want to point out to you, I want to have as much compassion as possible. So forgive me if this were, a few months earlier or a year earlier, I would be tearing you a new one. Not because you're offending me. You're not offending me. Let me be clear about why I get offended. Not that you're offending me, but when I get offended because people are operating far beneath their essence, just as humans. And I get offended when people allow themselves to be manipulated, lied to, and confused. Your question, Gragas, how do I know that everything you say is true? It is so disempowering to you on so many levels. First is, just by asking that question, you have put me in the position of potentially telling you what to believe. Why in the world would you want to base any of your beliefs simply because what somebody else says? Why would you want to put me in that position where I can have that kind of control over you? It saddens me because it means that you are lost. That you can't listen to somebody talk and have any ability to ground yourself or anchor yourself into knowing whether or not any of it is true. So the only offense I'm going to take is it offends me that you don't have enough respect for your own infinite soul to say, I'm going to find out if that's true. This is what I'm saying, why people are being manipulated. You saw somebody on here, in the title, I've got aliens, Bigfoot, Dogman, extra dimensional, and he responds, fallen angels there, all fallen angels. And it's only because he's been manipulated to say that. This is somebody, I don't know you, Brian, but I know you believe that because you were told that. And I know that you believe it because your inherent human fear, which exists in the absence of critical thinking, in the absence of personal experience, in the absence of open-minded investigation, the only thing that will be left will be fear and judgment and prejudice. And somebody comes along and says, you know what that is? That's the devil. How do I know that? Oh, it's written in a book. Well, how do I know that book is true? I just told you it was true. Not only that, look, the book itself says it's true. The Word of God is the unerring Word of God. How do you know the Bible is the Word of God? Because this book says that it is the Word of God. How do you know God wrote it? The book said that. It's completely based on somebody else's word. You're taking somebody else's word. I am talking about things, Gragas, to answer your question. There is nothing that I talk about that I have not personally experienced. So how do you know that everything I say is true? You don't. And I've never even said everything I say is true. Because true is, again, the third dimension clasping on something when it could be a mist ball floating around, but you look at it and it becomes a dogman. Because of your fear, because of your experience of it, your feeling about it. So I'm telling you how to find out if it's true or not. You ask that question after I say, go to the interdimensional meditation course, learn, I just got through saying, learn how to connect with things outside of your own dimension. I just showed you this video here, the Maoshan Solar, where I tell you I show you how to do practices that will lift your energy up, and you know by personal experience. So why aren't you asking me a question of how can I find that out for myself? Teach me how to figure out if that's true or not. So sad that the only question you can come up with is, how do I know what you're saying is true? I wish I could express more deeply. It's just, this is somebody who doesn't even know that they have the option to personally experience things, to personally research things, not read something, not watch a video. I've been doing my research. Really? What is that? I've been watching videos. I've been doing my research. What does that mean? I've been reading books. I went to a seminar. I've been doing my research. What does that mean? I went and listened to David Icke. He's very convincing. That's not research. Research is getting your hands into it, experiencing it. And everything that I teach on this channel, everything on the thunderwizard.com, all of the free energy practices are all things that you can physically do and experience, and then you'll have your own knowledge. You won't have to ask me or anybody else what to believe. Do you get it, Gragas? To be in a position where you have to ask me whether or not you can believe me or not says that you don't even know how to test anything. I wrote this book. I've only been, look, 8 months ago, I didn't believe that extraterrestrials existed. I saw the CE5 Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind movie. And I saw other people doing stuff and evidence that they were experiencing higher dimensional beings. And I didn't say, how can I know if what they're saying is true or not? I didn't say that. I said, how the hell are they doing that? I want to find out how they're doing that, and I want to find out for myself if it's true. And I did. And it put me in a freaking coma for a month. And I have been now personally interacting with these beings on a daily basis. I don't need to believe anybody. I don't need to read a book. I don't need to listen to a video. I don't need to take anybody's idea for any of it. I want to know what ETs are. I go directly to them and I say, what are you guys? And the responses I get actually cause my brain to hemorrhage. You know, the higher dimensional thoughts in a three-dimensional brain doesn't fit very well. So, Gragas, I don't want you to believe what I tell you. I come on here and talk about this so you'll do it. Get up off your ass and do it. Do the meditations, do the Qigong. You don't want to pay for it? Go onto my channel, go to the playlists, find them and do them. For God's sake, have your own experiences. Come up with your own ideas. I hope that you never, ever, for the rest of your life, I hope you never, ever have to ask somebody, how do I know what you said is true or not? I never ask that question. If I listen to somebody and they say something that I don't understand or I haven't experienced, my question is, how do I figure out, how can I do what you did? You came to this conclusion. What did you do to get there? I'm going to follow that and see if I get to that same conclusion. Please do that. Don't ever let anybody give you that kind of control. You know, look, guys, it's not in my karma. I mean, I would, very bad things would happen to me if I decided to become a guru. But anybody who's worked with me, you know that the last thing I will ever let anybody do is put me up on a pedestal. If you try and put me up on a pedestal, I will crap on you. Just so that you know, oh, there's a human being above me. I will let you know immediately that I am a human being no different than you. Because it's abusive to ask somebody to have the answers that you don't have. It's, people like Keith Raniere and these other people, what people don't realize is, yeah, he was a narcissist, he's very abusive, but he was also being abused. What? Every time that you want somebody else to have the answers for you, you treat them like an object. And every single guru out there, name them, who's got all of these students beneath them that look up to him and call him guru and kiss his feet, he has no idea that they're abusing him. That they don't see him, they don't care about him, they don't know him, they don't want to know him. They want him to save them, have the answers for them. I won't let you do that to me. I will, at every opportunity I get, reveal to you my humanity and that I am no different than you are. Except perhaps the only difference is I never give up and I never take anybody else's word for anything. And if something somebody says sounds good, I try and replicate it so that I can have what they have. That might be the only difference between us. But other than that, I mean, I did CE5, and after the third time, I gave myself a freaking, stroke. I almost killed myself. Scared the crap out of me. And my brain couldn't figure it out. But I won't give up. So, please never ask somebody that question again. Ask a smart question. Tell me how you came to that conclusion. How can I find out for myself the truth of what you're saying? You say that, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to go here, go there. I'm going to tell you exactly where to go. I am only interested in giving you the tools so that you can do what I did. And I have no problem with any of you becoming smarter, more evolved than I am. My goal is that you will. My goal is that people will take advantage of all of the information I'm giving you, and you will become stronger, smarter, more spiritual, more knowledgeable, more powerful than me. That's my goal. And that is the goal of every true teacher. The goal of every true teacher is that their students will be smarter than they are. So, Grogos, no, I wasn't offended, but it saddens me. And I hope now you know what questions to ask. And I hope you take advantage of what I've given you. Please, guys. I have to say, I don't understand. I do not understand people who just come onto the channel and listen. I don't get it. I don't know why you don't take advantage of the free energy practices that I give you on the channel. And I sure as hell don't understand why everybody isn't, going and what? The Maoshan practices are what? $2,000 off? I don't know why you all aren't going after that. I don't know why the 90-day challenge isn't filled with there's 20,000 subscribers. Why there isn't 20,000 people subscribed to that. I don't get it. I don't get why anybody would want anything less than the best for themselves. I don't understand that. I'm not going to take anything less than the absolute best. I'm never going to stop reaching. And I hope that I can inspire you to do the same. All right. What else? Vincent.thunderwizard.com. I feel like isolating and cutting everyone off. I feel resentful. I feel like throwing a temper tantrum and finding the 12 steps very challenging. Good. You're growing. You're now consciously experiencing the childish temper tantrum you've been having on an unconscious level. So that means you're that much closer to being free of it. So good for you. I'm sorry you're feeling that way. It's very painful. I understand it. But, if you're having that kind of pain, you're going in the right direction. You're doing something right. Agent of the Universe question, can you explain more about the hierarchy of the ETs? No. I can't. Let's see what else. That's not a question. That's actually an honest feeling. So Bart Walker doesn't realize it. There are two things I want. I want question and a feeling. Bart Walker just shared a feeling. He didn't write down feeling, but he says, I just got the perspective that I needed to pull me out of my spiritual funk. I was getting bogged down in my own nonsense. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad that was helpful. Vincent, honest feeling. I'm resentful of the rejection I experienced by my mom during childhood. As well you should be. That's the worst thing. Gragas, honest feeling. I'm sorry for the question. No, why? Why are you sorry? I don't want you to apologize. Don't apologize. Don't take what I say and apologize. Go, yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm not trying to tell you to stop asking those questions. I have the right to have a feeling based on your question, and you don't have to take it personally. You have the right to ask a question that's going to make me have a feeling, and my feeling is to help you. You shouldn't be apologizing for the fact that I'm having an intense feeling of wanting to break through. It's like you didn't hear what I said. Now, don't apologize for that either. I don't need your apology. Don't debase yourself. Don't throw yourself away. You were throwing yourself away in the question. Now you're throwing yourself away with my response to your question. Nobody is as important as you. Nobody's experience is as important as yours. The most loving thing you can do is allow people to have their negative feelings about you. And still know that I'm here for you. So you say, I'm sorry for the question. I'm in a state of confusion on what is true. No, you're not. Nope. I'll explain what's really going on with you. I've been meditating, but I am hoping to get an experience, but I do not seem to get any. The reason why you're not getting any is because of what you said. I'm in a state of confusion of what is true. You're not in a state of confusion about what is true. You're in a state of confusion about who you are. You are fighting with yourself about what other people want you to be, what three-dimensional reality wants you to be, and what your soul wants you to be. The point of meditation is not to have an experience, even though I just said do all these things to get an experience. And if that's the case, Gragas, are you doing any of my energy practices? Because then I will be offended. If you're coming onto my channel and asking questions and you're meditating, but you're not doing these practices you can't do. You can't do the 90-day challenge. You can't do the Maoshan spirit fighting without having an experience. You can't do the interdimensional meditations without having an experience. So if you're not having an experience, either you got a really thick skin and it's not getting through, or you're not doing the exercises I'm teaching, in which case, what the hell are you doing on my channel? Take advantage of it. So that's my next question to you. Are you doing the 90-day challenge? Are you doing the summoning the immortals Qigong? Are you doing the HUUL breath? Or are you sitting on your ass, closing your eyes, trying to meditate, thinking that's what meditation is? Because you read that in a book somewhere. But don't apologize. Anyway, what else? You say, I will try my best to watch the free video. What do you mean? Is there something preventing you from watching the videos? What do you mean you're going to try? Why won't you just do it? You yourself said they're free. The problem is, Gragas, you are not committing to yourself. Look, by the way, if I stumbled onto my channel, the kind of person I was when I was in my late 20s, and if I saw all the shit that I have here on this channel, I would be maxing out my credit card, and I did it to learn. I'd be maxing out my credit cards, I'd be borrowing money, I'd be working overtime, I'd be doing whatever the hell I could to get my hands on this. To say you're going to try to watch the free videos, I already know you're not committed to your own empowerment. No wonder you don't know what's going on. No wonder you don't know what to believe is true. Somebody told you. Somebody trained you to sit on your ass and not do anything and be confused. If you want to know the truth, you are going to have to get pissed off, and you are going to have to say, screw them. I'm going to do whatever the hell it takes to give me what makes me happy. I'm going to do whatever the hell it takes. If I think I want that, if I want to do that Maoshan stuff, I'm going to find the money to do it. If I want to drive that car, I'm going to find the money to do it. I'm getting on a plane to go to Australia. I'm too old to get a permanent visa over there. I have to go over there, and I did this 3 years ago. Life will not work if you sit on your ass and wait for it to come to you. You have to be willing to die to get the information that you want. I'm going to try and watch the free videos. Well, then you're going to fail because they're free and they're right in front of you. And if you have to try, you're not interested. So I'm being harsh with you because it's time for you to take control of what you want for yourself. Stop letting things around you diminish you. I just got a strong hit on that. You aren't committed to your own happiness. You're trying to, somebody told you, just like they did me, somebody told you that in order to be accepted, you have to be mediocre. In order to be accepted, you have to do things half-assed. Somebody in your life was either thought themselves to be a failure, or somebody in your life was intimidated by your success. And so you learned that by doing things half-assed, being confused and not being committed to your own empowerment, that then you would be accepted. And that's why you say things like, I'll try and watch the free videos. All right. Agent of the universe, Grogos did not ask for your help. He asked for mine. Do not give unsolicited advice. It's abusive. Don't ever do that again. I'm going to get rid of that comment. What else? Grogos, I'm talking with you not because I think I would normally do this, but because you're a good example for other people. You say, my body is lazy. No, it's not. Your body isn't lazy. Your body is responding to you. By the way, I don't believe in lazy. There is no such thing. The amount of effort, think about this, the amount of effort that you put into being lazy, if you put 10% of the effort into being lazy, into doing something that you wanted, you would own the world. Think of all the effort it takes to sit on your ass, watch television, play video games. Think about all the energy it takes to keep pushing out of your mind the thought of getting up and doing something. No, it takes far more energy to stay in one spot and do nothing than it does to get up and go be something. So you're not lazy. You're actually working really hard to do nothing. And it's because somebody told you that that's what you were supposed to do, and you want their love and approval. You say, something is holding me back. You are. Along with the university works that I have to do. Oh, you're such a victim. You have to do the university works? So the university came to you and put a gun to your head? Oh, I will watch the videos. I'm interested, but I have to wake up my body. The way you wake up your body is just by making a decision to go do stuff. Your body isn't lazy. You're choosing to be lazy, as I said, because your unconscious thinks that's what's going to make you a good and loving person. And when you do things that you think aren't lazy, you feel scared. You feel like a bad boy. You are going against the grain. And I'm here to tell you that having interacted now for 8 months with my interdimensional friends, that one of the first experiences I had, and I'm not alone in this, was that I was betraying my species. It was a very strange feeling. But when I went beyond the third dimension and I started being able to see things in higher dimensions and experience higher dimensional energies, my first feeling was guilt. That I was betraying my species. I was betraying the third dimension. And I didn't realize that I was unconsciously attached to the narrative, to the, what do we call those people? The deep state. So really, Grogos, what's going on is that you have an attachment to the deep state and you want their approval. You don't want to do that. You have to get up and act contrary to that. No excuses. What else? Nothing else? All right. I think that's it. I really got on my high horse today. I don't know what that was all about, but there you go. Thanks, guys. I wish you all the best. Seriously, and I mean this, I don't know why you guys aren't taking advantage of this stuff I'm throwing away for free. I don't get it. I mean, is it that the only people that watch my channel are 12-year-olds who don't have jobs and live with their parents? I don't understand it. Is it that you don't really care? You just like to watch me spout off, and it's just that's fine. Whatever gets you on here, but take advantage of these things. The solarflash.thunderwizard.com, maushan.thunderwizard.com. Those things. Once I'm settled and I've got things going on, the prices for that are going way up again. You're not going to have this opportunity for a while. And if you're at all interested in getting your hands on this kind of power, take advantage of it while it's still there. The books, Interdimensional Revolution, Amazon, Kindle, Audible. If you go to audiobooks.thunderwizard.com, you'll get 2 free audiobooks. That's what they'll give you. And so please, guys, take advantage of that. Read those books. Leave me some positive feedback, because the more people that buy the books, the more people will come to the channel. The more people that come to the channel, the more successful I will be, and the more I will want to give you these videos. I work really hard to keep this channel going. You can do me a solid by reading the books and giving positive reviews on Amazon and Audible and Kindle. And that's it. I got nothing else. Let's see. Did anything happen since then? Nope, that's it. All right, guys. I appreciate you. My apologies to if I was a little harsh with people, but understand that my only desire is to help you and to help inspire you and to help give you the tools so you can free yourself. That's my only interest. And so if I've offended anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, please forgive me. I'm coming from at least an honest desire to help absolutely everybody on this planet. And so I appreciate you showing up, watching the videos, and all of those of you who support the channel, support me, those of you who are buying the stuff, those of you who are subscribing. I appreciate you doing that for yourself, because the more that you empower yourself, the more you empower me. And I appreciate you because you help me to stay on here, keep the lights on, and to do my job, which is to give this information out to the world. That's it. I wish you guys all the best. I will see you all next time. The Maushan Solar Package Special. Get the 5-element Maushan Spirit Fighting plus the Solar Package. A total of $4,500 savings for both packages. 2 weeks only. Maushan.thunderwizard.com. Go to solarflash.thunderwizard.com to see what the Solar Flash package is all about. Get them both together, save $4,500.